Through the development, it'll have a tarmac surface, and the key considerations in this case, with it being a Town and Country Planning Act order, are firstly there's valid planning consent in place, which there is, and secondly you need to be satisfied that the changes are necessary to enable the development to take place, and the assessment of those criteria suggests that they are. So again, we recommend that the order be made to allow to go through the statutory process.
Thank you, Robin. Any questions?
Assuming there's no objections here, process will move.
All happy, right? Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is for footpath number 8. The proposal seeks to divert the path shown by the solid black line onto the route shown by the broken black line. Members will see that the current alignment of the footpath is actually obstructed by buildings, and that's an historic situation that's arisen as far as that's concerned, but that shouldn't be something that you take into consideration as part of the decision-making process. You should consider the diversion as if the path were currently open and available at the moment. The diversion is again sought under the Town and Country Planning Act in line with approved development, and to enable that development to take place, it would be necessary to move the path onto a different alignment, which it currently is now. And essentially it's proposed to move it down the side of the buildings there, and then it will run out across the fields. Again, a relatively minor change. We consider that the criteria of the legislation have been met.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank
you.
It's been no objection, so I agree with that.
Thank you, Chair. It looks as if the proposed path is obstructed by a building at point A, little outbuilding.
And that was actually gap between the two buildings. It's hard to see
The proposed new path will be clear and available as part of the development.
Okay.
Councillor Evans, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just agreeing that we go along with it because there doesn't seem to be any outstanding objections according to this.
No? All right, thank you for that. All in agreement? Thank you. Item 7 is the governance review. Well, I will hand that over to Mark, please. Yes. Thank you, Robin.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. The report that we've got tonight, it sets out the background of the community governance review and some details of the consultation exercise that my colleague Alfie here has been actively involved with. We had something like 97 written responses and a petition, and we filtered the responses received using 2 tests. First of all, is there an indication of some form of community consensus? And then secondly, if the representation came from parish council, does the suggestion contribute to efficiency and effectiveness of that parish? We then looked at the statutory guidance considerations, which are also set out in the report. Briefly, these are community cohesion, identity, population size, geographic boundaries, effective and convenient governance. So that's the report. And Chairman, if you'd like me to move on to the first of the recommendations, which is Fradley and Street Hay.
Yes, please.
For Fradley and Street Hay, they're both geographically separate settlements with their own identity. They both experienced significant growth in the past and will continue to do so in the future. So we're suggesting that they now be split into 2 separate parishes. Making Street Hay a ward of Lichfield City was also an option we looked at, but we're mindful of the fact that the City Council is already one of the largest parish councils in the country. And the parish council itself has stated a preference for having 2 separate parishes. The parish council has asked for a council size of 5 for Street Hay and a council size of 10 for Fradley. We're suggesting 5 and 9, as this will give a similar representation for both areas. So that's the first of the recommendations.
Do we have any questions regarding Bradley and Street Hay? Or shall we move on?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good, thank you. The second of the recommendations concerns Lichfield City Council. There are 3 small 1-member wards in the City Council: Garrick Road, Burton Old Road and Pentire Road. The City Council has asked that we merge each of these with the adjacent larger ward. So Garrick Road will become part of Chadsmead, Burton Old Road will become part of Stowe, and Pentire Road will become part of Bowley Park. And in doing so, this helps us address the uneven allocation of the councillors across the city to some extent. So where at the moment, for example, a councillor in Garrick Ward represents 302 electors, while in Lemonsley a councillor represents 1,124. If we merge the wards and keep all the councillors the same, the range is a bit better. You end up with 660 electors per councillor at the lower end of the range and 1,124 at the higher end of the range. However, if we don't increase the number of councillors in Chadsmead Ward when we merge it with Garrick Ward, because Chadsmead is already quite overrepresented in terms of members, we end up with a much more even 782 electors per councillor to 1,124. So we brought that range right down. So that leads us to make the recommendation in the report that we merge all the single member wards, but keep the enlarged Chadsmead ward at 4 councillors. And that's the recommendation for Lichfield.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you. The Longdon is quite straightforward, I think. They've passed a resolution to reduce the council size because they have problems filling all the seats and reaching quorums for meetings. So they've asked that they go from 11 to 9. We've looked at, can't see a problem with that, so we're happy to endorse the parish council's request that we reduce the parish council slightly. That's Longdon. And then finally, the consultation through one other issue in the district, and that was Shenston. The 2 largest numbers of representations were firstly for Fradley Street A and then secondly also for Shenston. Shenston's our largest parish, and we received 7 written submissions in favour of a separate parish of Stonham and Lynn, and we received 25 submissions against that split. However, we have also received a petition for an independent Stonham and Lynn Parish Council, and that petition has 67 signatories, equating to about 1.1% of the population of the parish. So we need to consider, on the evidence provided, if the consultation demonstrated sufficient community consensus for a change. We noted that the parish is in favour of the status quo, as is the ward member. And we're also mindful that if we are to recommend a change against the wishes of the parish council, we take the view that we would need to exceed a significant threshold in order to do that, which we don't feel was met. And therefore, for Shenston, we're recommending no change.
Question?
Yeah, I've got a declared interest here, given I live in Stonham, and it's my wife who is the member for the area, Councillor E. Little. The one thing about the petition I would say is when it originally went out, it had the Lichfield District Council logo on it. That had to be withdrawn. Is there any dissemination between the number of signatures while the council's logo was on there and the petition that is now submitted with the 67 signatures? Because if it was done so with the Lichfield District Council logo on it, that would give endorsement for the petition to go forward, of which I know no endorsement was given from the council for the logo to be on there, which would deem it legally insubmittable. So if the numbers prior to the submission of this petition are included in the signatories there, then I would say that the petition has to be taken out of the report and not considered.
The petition as we received it is the one that was circulated to members today. So we're sort of taking it in good faith that was the one that was circulated, but that's literally as we received it and scanned it in with that heading that you was circulated. I would just say on the size of the petition that it would have had to have been significantly larger if it was going to trigger a community governance review in itself. So it hadn't actually reached that threshold.
Yep, that's all very good. What I would say is I agree with the recommendations entirely, But should the matter be pushed any further, that this particular petition is wiped from the record, given that there seems to be question marks as to whether it was an endorsed petition or a non-endorsed petition. So should anyone who puts forward a petition again, that these 67 signatures are considered null and void.
We'll certainly look at because this report will go on to council next, subject to the recommendations tonight. So we can certainly look at the status of that petition in the meantime.
Okay, could something in the report that goes to full council mention that an original petition was put out with the logo unendorsed by the council, was later withdrawn, and this is the submittable one, yet we don't know whether the signatures were redone or whether they were included in this one, because I think that's a very important legal matter.
Absolutely. We will also go to the organizer of the petition and to sort of obtain the facts on that.
Any other question?
This is the original district. Are there any local parish reviews coming before us, or is that not being done?
No, it was basically an opportunity for any parish or any resident to raise an issue with us, and then we would look at those. So all clerks were informed that the review was taking place. We gave them a toolkit to communicate that review. If they haven't raised anything in the consultation, we haven't taken it further, but we haven't received a formal submission from the town council.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Ray?
Yeah, just timing. So it goes to full council, Mark, as you said, in October. And the plan is this would be implemented for the elections next May.
Absolutely, yeah. It will go to the 12th of July council to approve the recommendations tonight. It will then go to a second stage consultation over the summer. The final recommendations will go to council in October, and then yes, hopefully we can make sure that the order is done by December, which will allow the changes to be in place for the May 2023 election.
Okay, any other questions? No.
So we just need to move the recommendations.
Oh, yes, someone just move the recommendation. Please, Alistair, thank you. Councillor, thank you, Jill. All in favour? Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, item 8, the work programme. Next meeting is down for the 26th of September. At the moment, it's just showing licensing policy, but I do know there will be other items on that agenda.
It is, yes.
It is, yes, Chair. So at the special meeting we had last week, there was a suggestion from members to put an item on the work programme regarding charges for pavement licence applications, I believe it was. So following discussions with licensing officers, all being well, that should also be added on in preparation for the next meeting. And then in terms of the February meeting, as is the nature of this committee, items do tend to crop up during the year. So it's more than likely that by the time we get there, there will be something in that column as well.
Thank you very much. In that case, I will bring this meeting to, I'm sorry, Councillor Evans.
Might just be a little bit frivolous, Chairman, but on page 20, you've got draft recommendations. Well, if you've got draft recommendations, they're not very good, are they? That's what it says, so it needs correcting.
Thank you for that. Anything else? Councillor Chapman.
Seeing as we've done footpaths and now James got a little struggle with this. There's a footpath about to have a temporary closure, which goes under the A38 and connects Whittington to Streeter. Now, the temporary closure is 4 years. Has this been before the council for anything at all? Is it just overridden by HS2? Because my understanding is that this temporary closure, when it comes back, is in a different place, which means it's not a temporary closure, it's a closure.
Yeah.
You may have no knowledge.
No, I'm not aware of the specifics of that. I think generally the county council does the rights of way closures. So we can inquire with the county.
If you could, please, because I'm struggling to see what the logic is, you just separate Whitty, the side of Whitty to the street pad, you know, alternative route.
We'll check.
Thank you.
Anything else? In that case, I'd like to thank everyone and bring this meeting to a close at 18:20. Thank you very much.
So you're going to the record, you're talking, yeah?